All right. Hello, Thrift Boss babes. It is Sammy D here. Hello. I haven't gone live for, I don't know, maybe it's been a week or 2 weeks. I can't remember, but I love going live in this community because typically it means that we're doing another Learn and Earn interview, which according to so many of you have just been so helpful for you just to get some glimpses into really what it takes to be a full-time reseller, to get some words of wisdom, some suggestions, some tips and tricks that you've never heard of, and also for your mindset to just expand and to really understand the power of this industry and what it could mean in your life, either as something part-time or something full-time. So awesome to see some of you guys joining. I see Michelle. What up, Michelle? I see Trisha, my girl Trisha. So we are speaking to tonight Alex Schwartz, and she is from, hey Esther, girl, I owe you a message. Don't worry. I will write you back. So we're interviewing Alex of the Queen of Thrift. So Alex is someone I came across on social. I meet people on social, and I was a little nervous, honestly, to message her because she's just so good at what she does. And sometimes when people are really talented, you're like a little apprehensive and you just feel like, I don't want to kind of infringe on their personal space. But here's the cool thing about Alex. She is from Pennsylvania, which is where I was born and raised and where I went to university, and where my family still lives. So she is sourcing from an area where I grew up, which is really cool. Good evening, Michelle. And Alex is just very transparent about her business. And that's why she agreed to come on board tonight and speak to us, because she has a YouTube channel where she talks about the power of resale, where she talks about what she's learned, tips and tricks, tutorials, things like that. So she is definitely an open-hearted person. She wants to share her wisdom, and she has built an empire that she is just constantly tweaking and making better, because that's what it takes to really, overall be an entrepreneur, but particularly to succeed to succeed with a resale business. So I am just waiting for Alex to get on. I don't see her at the moment. Alex, if you're watching, just comment below. That way I know that you're watching. I haven't seen you pop up. So usually it says that you've popped up. So I know this is brand new for Alex. So we're just going to give her a few minutes here. But if you are tuning in, I'd like to hear from you. Yay, Alex is here. Okay. So if you are tuning in, I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments, whether you're watching this live or watching the replay. Please say hello. Yeah, so girl, you know what you're doing. Alex is like, I've never done this before. I don't know if I can do it. And here she is. She just requested to be in the video. All right, so I'm going to get my questions ready. Guys, this is going to be a really awesome information-packed interview. So if you're watching live, listen closely, take notes, ask questions during the interview so we can answer at the end. And if you're watching the replay, do all of the above, because this is going to be super valuable. So Alex, I'm going to bring you on board, and we're going to just like cross our fingers that everybody and your beautiful face appears. And here we go. So fingers crossed. Let's do it. Come on. Still adding. Come on, Facebook gods. I believe in you. Believe in you. It's going to happen. Okay, you're still being added, Alex, if you hear me. Just press accept. I think it says accept. I'm not quite sure. Oh, you might not even be here anymore. I see someone left. All right, guys, we're still waiting for Alex. Come on, Alex. She's stuck. Oh, she's requesting again. All right, Alex, we're going to try you again. Okay. Come on. This is like the most difficult part of these Facebook Lives. Whoa. There she is.
Hey.
You did it.
I did it. It was weird. It like had to go into my settings and stuff, so.
Oh, you had to push some stuff before you could be on the video?
Yeah, it took me into my settings, and then I had to allow Facebook like to get into my phone or something.
Oh, so maybe that's been happening with other people and I didn't even know that. There's always something with these Facebook Lives. They're not easy.
It was easy. It just like, it like kicked me out, and then I had to go right back in.
Well, hey, you're here now. So now you can do all the Facebook Lives in the world because you let Facebook know that you want to do them. So welcome, Alex. Yay, we did it. All right, cool. So I want to jump right into things because you saw the like 16 questions I have for you.
Yeah.
And I want to hear, so I think what's so cool about these interviews, Alex, ooh, sorry, I'm so excited. There we go. What's so cool about these interviews is I know a little bit about the people whom I'm speaking to, but a lot of the times I don't know that much. So I really don't even know your story and how you got started, not only as, you know, a thrifter in general, but obviously as a reseller. So let's take it back and just kind of talk us through how you started thrifting and just how that came into your life.
Well, for me, thrifting has just always been there.
Okay.
So it didn't like start thrifting. It just like my mom always thrifted, so she used to take me and my brother and my sister with her, but we hated it. It's like kids,
Yeah.
we hated going to Goodwill. And so yeah, it just like was just like it was just like the normal thing. Like all my clothes came from Goodwill.
Mm-hmm.
Me and my sister, we used to have like code words for Goodwill. Like we
Are you
didn't want
serious?
Yes, we did. It was like we would call it G Boutique or GW, and
Right.
so yeah, it was just normal.
That's such a great post to make on social. Like, did you have a code word for the thrift store growing up?
Right? I always wondered if other people did that too, or
they
if
did.
it's just me.
I bet they did. I totally bet they did. Okay, so when did like thrifting become normal for you in the sense that you were like excited? Was it when you were a teenager or?
Probably like I want to say like junior high, like because my mom was a single mom, so she didn't have money to, you know, give us to go shopping and stuff. So I started noticing that like I was able to find, you know, like the popular brands at Goodwill rather than going out to stores. So I would get excited, you know, junior high was like the days of like Aeropostale, Hollister.
Oh my
I
God.
would find like Hollister
Abercrombie.
jeans and I would be like, oh my God, I can't believe I found this. So that's when it got excited for me.
Wow. I love it. I love it. Yeah, I started at 16 so I could find vintage. So that's
Oh
why I
yeah.
started thrifting. Yeah. I was like, where's the weird stuff? Oh, it's here. It's obviously.
Well, yeah, I would like find stuff like that's vintage, but it would look modern. And people would be like, where'd you get that? And I'd be like, I don't know. My mom bought it.
Right. I don't know. It's from like, you know, California. It's
yeah,
exotic.
it's like a secret boutique you don't know about. So
awesome. And you grew up in Philadelphia area, right? Which town did you
I
grow
grew up in Reading, PA.
Oh, you grew up in Reading, right? We had this conversation. Okay, cool. So yeah, and I grew up in Lancaster. So the Delia's outlet, did you ever go? This is such a random question. There was a Delia's outlet in Reading.
No, I don't think. Wait, is it at the Reading outlets?
Back in the day, there was a Delia's.
They're still
outlet.
there. They're still there. Like the Reading outlets, they have like just like Timberland and like I don't know what the Delia's is. I just know like the Reading outlets. It's like it's rundown.
Oh, of course. Like I don't think anyone's shopping there anymore. I just remember like Delia's. The Delia's outlet was there, and I like remember that was so cool. So awesome. So let's now talk about how you became a reseller. I have no idea.
Okay.
What's the story?
It's a long story.
Yes, I want all of it.
So I want to say when I was like 17, probably, the Binz back then, I don't know if you remember, because you're from Lancaster, so you probably know like the outlets at, have you ever been like Morgantown area? Mm-hmm. Okay, so the Goodwill there in Morgantown, they had an outlet center attached to it.
I never went to that.
No? Ah, you missed out. So next door, like, because my mom, even back then, it's funny because we always say how expensive Goodwill is now, but even back then, my mom would be like, we're not going in there. It's $5 for jeans. We're not doing that. We're going into the outlet, which was attached to it. And it was like old wooden bins. It wasn't by the pound. Yeah. And like, it wasn't like by weight. It was by per piece. So it was 25 cents per piece. So imagine like, you know, you have like a pile of clothes in your cart. And when you go to check out, the cashier actually has to count how many pieces. So they would do like 4, 4, 4. So every 4 items would be like $1. Yeah. So that's how I would shop. And they put in like a Plato's Closet near me. And I would take my clothes to Plato's Closet to get money so that to trade or whatever. And so I was like 17 and me and my sister would go. And that's when I learned that I was profiting. because I was getting these clothes for 25 cents and they were paying me $5, $3. It wasn't like a large profit, but I would, you know, fill up a trash bag and then take it and get like $50 for a trash bag of clothes. And I mean, to me, it was winning. And so
I mean,
that's
the hourly wage back then was $7.
right. So I would just do that to get a
So,
quick $50 to go out with my friends to like Applebee's or get my nails done, like, you know, stuff that you would do when you have no bills or anything. So that happened. And then I got into like vintage denim. There was like this whole craze with everyone remaking like jean jackets or like the mom jeans. And I would like
yeah.
cut shorts and I would put like jewels and I would bleach them and dip dye like
Yes.
high-waisted shorts. So I made an Instagram account when I was about 21. And I was one summer, I was just going to the outlets and I was just selling these jean shorts for like $40 a piece. And like, it was crazy. I was like selling out like every week, just going and just posting on Instagram and just selling out.
So you're like a
And
real OG Insta shop.
yeah, I don't really talk about it that much, but that's actually
Oh.
how like it got started. And
Okay.
so my friend, this girl from high school, I never really talked to her much on high school, but she saw what I was doing and she told me about this app called Vinted.
Yeah.
And she's like, so this was like what, 2011, I want to say. She was like, oh, you should sell those on Vinted. So I started posting them and then I saw other people that were selling like brand name clothing for like $15 to $20. So I thought, why am I still taking these clothes to Plato's Closet when I can just post like American Eagle and, you know, just typical like mall brands on this app and sell? And that's how I like discovered like the online like app selling. So Vinted, I did that for a while. I did Vinted from like 2011 to like 2015, 16. And that's when I discovered Poshmark, which is like 2016 is when I joined. And I kind of like accidentally fell into like the Instagram reselling community too with Vinted because there was a girl on there that I connected with, and she's the one who told me about like the Instagram community, and that's when I discovered there was other people doing this thing that I thought was like a secret, and I was the only person. I thought I was like the
LOL.
only person doing it, and then I was like, holy crap! Like there's people out there that are literally doing this and making a living. Like Nicole State was the first person that I saw on YouTube. And I was like, oh my God. And I told my boyfriend, I was like, this girl is on here and she's making this much money. Like, I want to do that. Like, I can do it. So
That's incredible. That's incredible. So you started on this app, Vinted, which does anyone even use it anymore?
No, it died.
Yeah.
It like, they just like made all these changes on there and people just left. They all went to they all went to Poshmark because Poshmark then, I think Poshmark may have been created after Vinted. I think Vinted might have been before Poshmark, honestly. So everyone just like jumped on it because Poshmark let you buy with your earnings, and you couldn't do that on Vinted. So that's what made people, I think, go there because myself, I like that because, you know, you can sell things and then you can use your money to buy something better.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, it's a constant changing landscape of where to sell. I mean, I'm sure there will be something else in like 2 years that we didn't see coming. Something. But okay, so you already mentioned the outlet, which not everyone on this planet, especially the planet, but also the country, has actually ever been to a Goodwill outlet because they're few and far between, but I would say they're growing. And you are one of the resellers I follow whom I think focuses a lot on the outlet. Like that seems to be your jam. So I'm curious, like, how did you, like, so I kind of just heard your story. Have you always focused on the outlet, or was there a time when you were like not as much and you've transitioned over because it helps your business? And do you even still shop like traditional thrift stores? Like, do you go to Salvation Army and Half Off Wednesday? Do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I did. I started with the outlet mostly, and then last year is when it's weird because like I've never actually like stepped foot and shopped into like a regular Goodwill until I saw other people doing it like a couple years ago. So I followed, you know, the trend, and I saw other people. So I wanted to do what everyone else was doing. So I did it, but
Uh-huh.
then I quickly kind of learned I don't think it's for me. I mean, I still do, but not as much because I feel like the profit margins are just not there. And the area that I live in, I don't really find a lot of like higher end designer items, so it's hard for me to just go into regular thrift stores and I'm not walking in there and I'm not pulling out, like Chloe heels or anything like that. So I like the outlet. I don't know. It's just more like home for me to dig in
Yeah.
bins. So
And how many hours do you spend when you're there? Are you there all day?
sometimes.
Yeah.
uh, well, for me, I have to travel an hour and 15 to 20 minutes each way, so I have
Yeah.
to like make it worth it. In the past, I only lived down the road from it, so I would just, drive there and spend all day and then go home. Now it's like I have to make it worth my while.
Yeah.
So, yeah, typically about 4 hours.
Cool. And how many times a week do you go?
Right now, I'm going once or twice
Okay.
because I'm trying to, focus on listing everything before going through tea. If it
Got
was,
it.
if I had a choice, I probably would go more often, but
Right.
gotta.
Right. And I have a question like very specific to your schedule, which we'll get into later. But when it comes to like in general, like a traditional thrift store or the Goodwill bins, when you're thrifting, like I'm asking you this because I think a lot of people in this community don't do this. So I'd love to hear you actually talk us through what it is that you do. Do you like run comps, or are you all intuition? Like you're finding things and it's just like I think, or are you
I'm
checking
into.
on your phone?
I'm definitely intuition. I'm like,
Really?
yes, I'm not really a comp person. Like, I try to be, but then I
Okay.
find that I second guess myself a lot. So like if I'm looking up
Mm,
something, I'll see like, some comps are showing that it's sold for 80, some are showing that it's 50, and then I'm like, "Oh, well, if this only sold for 50 last week, then I don't think it's going to sell for me," and then I'll put it back. So
okay.
I think sometimes the searching comps can be confusing. And then with Poshmark, you don't know if that's sold in a bundle. You don't know how long that person had it listed for. It's like there's
Mm,
so many things that come into play. I think it's for me, I have to look at it like, have I sold this brand before in the past? Did it do really good for me before? Is it, like a newer style? Is it on trend? There's like so many things that come into play before I make that final decision of whether I want to buy it or not.
got it. Got it. And
And
mhm.
no, I'm just saying, like, if I'm at the bins, I'm not wasting any time on my phone looking things up. Whatever I'm throwing in my cart, it's going in my cart and it's coming home and I'm going to sell it. I'm just,
Yeah, yeah, no. And that it does make a lot of sense too, because it's like um, what I hear from a lot of people is what works for one person doesn't work for another. So it's basically establishing within your heart what works for
yeah.
you. So, but how about new brands? Like how do you work with that? Is that again just based on like intuition, like it's trending, but
It's
it's like a
kind
brand new brand you've never sold? Like how do you decide?
um honestly, I'm not really sure. Like it's just like if I look at it and I like it, I'm
Yeah.
attracted to the item. I'm like, "Ooh, like I want this. Like someone's going to love this." Then I'll get it. If it's something that I've never seen before, something never sold before, then I'm going to look it up. I usually honestly look it up on Google. I know it sounds crazy and weird, but I'll Google it before I actually look at comps because I want to see what does this retail for?
Right.
Like, where's it being sold? Is it being sold at like Nordstrom, Bloomingdale's, things like that? Then
Mm-hmm.
I want to know. So I'll
Mm-hmm.
Google it
Mm-hmm.
first before.
Or even like, is it, is this very exclusive? Like, is this
Yeah,
very hard to get? Therefore, people want to find it,
right,
you know,
exactly.
via a secondhand avenue because they can't buy it in New York or they can't buy it in LA or they can't buy it wherever.
Yeah,
Cool.
absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
So when you go to the outlet, like this 1 to 2 times a week, which is obviously what you're trying to do, but like ideally, when you go 1 to 2 times a week, how many pieces are you actually bringing back to your home?
My last trip, I mean, it's always different. My last trip, I
Mm-hmm.
got 77 pounds, and yeah, it was great. It's like it doesn't really happen often.
I'm hyperventilating. Okay, what's your average? Holy crap,
Yeah.
77 pounds, girl.
That's not the most. The most I've ever gotten, I think, was like 150 pounds. Like, but the last trip, yeah, it was great. I got 77 pounds and I did, I think I got 93 items. So yeah, my like average cost of good price is definitely under $1. It's like 70 cents to like
Per
83.
piece.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, per piece.
which I like.
Wow. Yeah, yeah, no, and it makes much more sense than even half off Salvation Army where you're like, oh, it's $3.
Yeah,
Like
but
that's
$3, and if you're only
20%
selling
more.
it, right, if you know, if you buy it for $3 and you're selling it for 18, then getting what, 14, and you're profiting $11.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's not as much. So okay, let's do. Back to acquiring inventory because I'm just always curious. Like I'm sure you get DMs all day or like people even know about you and reach out to you. Do you acquire inventory in any other ways besides thrift stores? Like do you go to yard
No,
sales? Do you estate
nope,
sales? Nope.
nope. I've tried going to estate sales in my area, and no,
Yeah.
it's like it was bad. It was just like mostly junk that's like overpriced, and
Yeah.
yard yard sales I've noticed, like garage sales too, a lot of people, they think that their items are worth more than what they are. So, which, you know, I can understand people, they're trying to make money too. So I just think like it's just not, like they want $10 for like Forever 21 dresses and stuff, and
Yeah, no. I mean, it's kind of like if you have this source, right? Like you have the Goodwill outlet. Obviously, you're putting
yeah,
money in with your miles and your gas, so it's a little bit more per item if you really like spread that out.
right,
But there's nowhere else where you can acquire so many items for $1 each.
exactly. So I'm like, why would I, you know, try and even, like, my area is expensive, but that's why I travel out there. I mean, I've had people reach out to me, like a lot of people, like friends from high school,
Hmm.
like, hey, like I have these clothes. Do you want them? Blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, like, you know, how much do you want for them? And then they're like, they hit you with like, you know, I have all these American Eagle jeans. You could have them for $15 each.
No,
Like, nah, I'm good. Like, you can keep them.
peace. No way. No way. Okay. Wow. Yeah. I mean, I definitely get a lot of like people reaching out to me when their family members die because I work with vintage mostly. So
Oh,
I
yeah.
go through a lot of dead people's closets. I actually have one coming up. I'm really excited. Apparently she has clothes dating from 1968.
I would seriously, like, I would love that. Like, that's how it is for me at the bins, though,
Hmm.
because a lot of um, people, you know, when their loved ones die, some people don't feel like doing the whole estate thing. They just dump it at Goodwill. So
Right.
sometimes I'll get like one bin and it's just filled with like old vintage clothing, like,
Yeah. Wow.
and you know, it came from all the same person, and there has to be someone who died because it's that old that,
Yeah. I feel like every outlet is different. It's just like, maybe some Goodwills, they just put stuff straight to the outlet. They don't even put it on the
hmm
floor. But in New York, they actually put it on the floor. And after 3 weeks, they put it in the outlet, or
uh,
according to them.
that's how ours is too. Like, we have a lot of bins that will come out and you'll see the Goodwill tags on it.
Yeah.
But every so often, like, you have to be there at the right day. I don't even know like how it works on the back end, how it even happens. But
Hmm.
sometimes it'll be all day where it's just pure donations. So like you'll hit
Okay.
one bin and it's like, you know, all Anthropologie free people. It all came from the same person. And
Um,
then you'll hit another bin and it's like, you know, old crap like from someone's house. It's like
yeah.
you just keep going down the line and you just hit different people's houses. That's what it seems like, all different closets.
So interesting. So that
Yeah.
inventory never made it to the floor. It's
No.
just,
It just came through somehow. Or I'm thinking maybe like they saw something in the bag that like wasn't fit for the store, and maybe they just like pushed it
yeah,
through to go to the outlet. I'm
yeah,
sometimes like, because a lot of the stuff does have stains and holes and things like that. Like, so I don't know if that's how it works.
maybe. Yeah, maybe. Wow. We need to interview someone from Goodwill. I need to interview someone from Goodwill.
Right?
So back to your schedule, and then I want to move into like, actually like your inventory and brands and things like that. But like you obviously do this full time, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm sure like every other boss babe, like it doesn't matter like their industry, it's hard to have time management. It's hard to have self-control. So like,
Yes.
what is your typical schedule? Like, what have you learned that works for you?
Oh my God, you want to know the truth?
You have no schedule?
I have no schedule.
Okay. I
Um,
love it though, because that's showing people that they don't have to be so like regimented.
no, I was like that at first. I thought like, oh, I got to get up at this time. I got to do this. I got to do that.
Yeah.
And now I'm just like, if I get my shit done, it really doesn't matter. Like what I sometimes I don't get out of bed until like 10 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have like a routine. I can say that. Like I do the same thing every day. It's just sometimes I'm not waking up at 4 a.m. I'm not on that hustle mentality of
Right.
I need to do this. I need to do this. Like, no, I can, I like to just work at my own pace. I mean, think about it. That's kind of why we're self-employed. That's why we want to
I
we want to
100%
run
agree with that.
we want to run our own show.
Yeah.
We don't want
Yeah.
someone telling us what to do. So I wake up at 10 o'clock and then I print all my labels out, and I just got a storage unit a couple months ago, so I don't store my inventory here anymore.
Cool.
So print my labels out, and then I make a list of my, the SKU numbers, everything I got to pull.
Okay.
Head over there, and then I pull it out, come back here because my storage doesn't have like electric and all that stuff. So then I come back home, and then I pack it all up, go to the post office, and then after the post office, I'll try and hit up like 1 or 2 thrift stores, pick up a couple things, come home, photograph list, and that's pretty much it.
Wow. Wow. So your storage, obviously, like you said, is something new. When did you justify having that? Like, what was the breaking point for you?
Probably because we live in a 700 square foot apartment, so it's just a 1-bedroom apartment. I was using half of my living room to store my inventory, and it just got out of control. Like I wanted to grow like my store, and I had a whole wall of shelves with my inventory in it, and it was holding, I want to say, maybe 600 items,
Jeez.
which isn't even, it's 600 items is not that much. When you're doing this full time, it's like, it's not a lot of items.
Okay.
So I needed to grow, and I was like, I just have to get a storage unit. We looked at, we were going to move into like a 2-bedroom apartment, but it just,
the cost didn't work out.
Yeah, like it just didn't work out. The bedroom was very small for the second, and I was like, I can get something different. So I got the storage unit, and now it's better because I don't have all this stuff here, but then it's also, I have to leave, do that. But
yeah,
it works.
But
it works for now.
Works. I was just going to say it works for now. So how many items do you actually have listed? Because you just said 600, so I'm curious.
Okay, so right now I want to say a little bit over 500 in my Poshmark, and then on eBay I have over 900. I'm not sure how many, but I have over 900.
God. Okay. And this is just like a random question because these totally come up, but I'm like thinking to myself right now, is it better to have more? Like, is that better for the search, for like the algorithm, to have more in Poshmark and more in eBay? Or
I want that. Hold on.
No worries.
Save me one of those. Minnie's about to throw away pizza.
No.
Oh, you're not throwing it away? Oh, you're making it for me? Okay.
Yes.
Don't throw away the pizza.
Manny. I love it. I love it.
Okay, so you're asking.
Yeah, is it better? Is it better to have more?
So personally, I haven't noticed a difference on Poshmark with having more listings. That's never made a difference. Honestly, I was making more money on Poshmark when I had less listings. I mean, but that's a whole different story with the changes on Poshmark recently. Like that can go down a whole other alley. eBay, yes. I think the more listings that you have, the more sales you're going to make because you just have a better chance at making sales because eBay is huge, so you want to have more listings than your competitors so you can make the sale basically.
Okay, got it. Okay, so let's talk about sales. So let's see, we've got over a bunch of stuff here. We kind of talked about that. Okay, let's talk about this big question. So, like, it sounds like to me you make a lot of your decisions based on what's sold for you. Okay, so you might be like, all right, like this, whatever French brand, this like French Parisian brand, whatever. I know it sells for me, so I've found it 3 times. It sold 3 times. When do you determine that a brand just isn't working anymore, or has that never happened?
Oh, it's happened.
Okay.
So like I'll give you an example. Before, I want to say like what, last year, 2 years ago, the brand like Cloth and Stone,
Yeah.
Anthropologie, like those brands. So I was picking those up so much. Every time I saw it, I was like, ooh, Cloth and Stone, boom, get it. Cloth and Stone, boom, get it. Everyone was raving about it. But then I was like, you know what? I have like 8 of these listed and I haven't sold Cloth and Stone in a really long time. So now I don't pick it up. Unless it's from the bins, then I pick it up because it will sell quickly for about $15. Whereas in
Oh,
the past, I've sold them for like 30, 35.
got
So I
it.
think sometimes brands, they just have like that expiration point where they're just not popular anymore. People just aren't looking for it.
Right,
So
right,
it
right.
happens.
Okay. Yeah, and then what do you do with the inventory that like just isn't selling? Do you take it to Plato's Closet? Do you keep it? Do you
I
donate
redonate
it? Do
it.
you?
I do.
Yeah.
I redonate it. Like if I can't sell it, I'll try and do like an auction. Um, I don't do the Plato's Closet thing because when I take it there, sometimes they won't accept everything. Sometimes they'll accept like 3 things and they give me like $3 and the time that it took me driving there and then waiting, that awkward hour where you're just like walking around Plato's Closet looking at stuff and then call you and they're like, sorry, we could only take these 3 items. Here's your $5.
Right, right,
And
right.
then you're like, oh, like you do the walk of shame and you're
The
hauling a
walk
trash
of
bag out,
shame.
hauling
The
the trash
walk
bag out. Yeah.
of shame. I know. I mean, it's definitely different for every person because I talk to people about Buffalo Exchange is really good in New York. They take so much.
Oh, yeah. I can
So
imagine.
I'll walk out of there with $75, like with
Wow.
like from stuff from the outlet and like vintage stuff that I could never sell, like ever. You know what I mean? Because there's
See,
like some
that's,
stuff you just can't sell online that's vintage, but
yeah, but
Buffalo
that's
would take
cool
it.
that they take vintage because like Plato's
Hmm.
and we have Plato's and we have Clothes Mentor.
Hmm.
They really, the only things like Plato's, they want Target brands, Forever 21, Charlotte Russe. And then the Clothes Mentor, they love their Chico's, Ann Taylor, and Loft.
Okay.
So, like,
Hmm. Yeah, but like at least you can try what you have
yeah, yeah, you can.
depending on where you are in the country and what that you have to know what the chain wants essentially. I mean,
yeah,
that's just really the secret. Okay, so back to okay, we asked that question. We kind of went over this, but I still want to like actually ask you directly because I think a lot of times we are watching other people. Like you mentioned Nicole State, like she's incredible. I also follow her. And she's posting, okay, I sold this, I sold that, or people are posting like all the labels they sold. Like, do you ever like look at other people and you're like, oh, they're selling that? Like maybe if I see that, I should try it, or are you just
yes.
completely tunnel vision? Okay.
I do sometimes. Like, I will look and I will try it, but if it doesn't work for me,
Yeah.
then I'll just know. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong, with trying. If you see like something working for someone else, I think that there's nothing wrong with trying it for yourself, but you can't get discouraged if it doesn't work for you because not everything is going to work for you. Like, I cannot sell. I'm trying to think of like a brand that I can't sell that everyone else can sell.
Rag
I
and
was
bone,
talking.
something like that.
Yeah, right. I was just talking to someone on Instagram the other day about like all these new Revolve brands that everyone keeps talking about.
Yes, yes.
They don't do anything for me. I picked up it's called like By the Way. It's
Hmm.
like one of their like cheaper, and I think that the quality of their items too is like they're not that great. they're
Hmm.
like they're very thin and like the material is kind of cheap. So I picked up like a couple of them and they sat forever. Or like the Nordstrom Rack sales. I know I used to do those all the time. I skipped out
Um,
because I have like Reformation, for instance, or
Reformation.
Reformation.
Hmm.
Does terrible for me. Like it
I
does
know, and
terrible. I have it listed like so many new attack items and they're just not moving. So I know like I don't think I'd pick that up again. Like
right, right.
Unless it was
Huh.
from the Binz. The Binz is always an exception.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's kind of like we all want to have this strategy that's like, okay, these are the rules. These are the rules for everyone, but like there's really no rules.
No,
Like
absolutely. Yeah.
you have to figure it out yourself and you have to take some losses to
Yes.
learn.
Yes. I have definitely taken lots of losses, like donating trash bags at a time of just pure crap that's just not.
Way to be honest. Yeah, because I
Yeah.
mean, if you're picking up 93 pieces times 2 a week,
Yeah.
that's so much.
Mhm. I mean, at the end of the day, you're usually like if you wait long enough, it will sell.
Okay.
So I do hold on to things for quite some time. I'll hold on to it for about a year. If
Okay.
it's been a year and it's just, no one wants it, I'm running 99-cent auctions and no one wants it for 99 cents, then no one wants it and it needs to go back where it came from.
I see. I see. And what is the value, like, because we're talking eBay, right? Is there like a particular value of running a 99-cent auction if someone even gets it for 99 cents? Like, does that help your shop in terms of the algorithm, or because you're not making any money? You're like,
It does. I think like running auctions every day actually does help because those auctions are ending and
oh,
it brings attraction to your store. So I've people have said it, I've
oh.
tested it, and it does work. It really does.
Wow, that's a huge tip.
Yeah,
Yes.
like days that I have auctions ending are always days that I make the most sales. And I'm like, I always thought people were just, had these weird theories. I was like, you know what? Let me try it. And I did. And I was like, shit, it works.
Shit, girl. Okay, so are you cross-posting on Poshmark and eBay? Like, are you listing the same items
Right
on both?
right now I'm listing everything on eBay first, and then I'm only cross-listing certain items. I'm not cross-listing everything
Okay.
anymore. I used to cross-list everything, but I'm like, no. Because with Poshmark you have to share, and I just don't like sharing that many items. It's just like it's too much.
I see. I see. Okay, so that was more just like a mental health decision for
Yeah.
yourself.
Like I need to take a break.
Right. Right, right. Okay, cool. So let's jump into social media. Social media. So you've built like this huge social following. What I heard you say is that you started on Instagram when Instagram started, which was 2011, and you were an Insta shop, like an OG Insta shop selling DIY denim, which is so cool. And now you are a whole other handle. And you have almost 40,000 followers, which is pretty massive for like a thrift reseller.
Yeah,
Um,
it's weird.
yeah.
It's
How
like
how did it all happen? Like,
I
was it
don't know.
by accident, or
I don't know.
are you
Well,
intentional? Like,
so it's really weird because my Instagram that I have now, that wasn't the Instagram shop. That one's
okay.
old and that one's gone. The Instagram I have now, it was my personal Instagram, and then it was a fitness account, and then,
Oh,
but the fitness account, it had like I think it had 1,000 followers on it. Like it wasn't
yeah.
anything like crazy. I don't know. I just started getting followers once I started sharing like pictures of like my labels, my thrift hauls, got on YouTube. I think
Yeah,
YouTube helped me actually get followers on Instagram because
for sure.
I made the YouTube around the same time that I was posting on Instagram with like the thrifting related stuff.
Hmm.
And then from there, I don't know, it just did it. I think like being like authentic and just being
Yeah.
yourself. I haven't changed anything. Like it's still just post like the same shit all the time, like the same thrift hauls, the usual stuff.
Yeah, yeah. And your YouTube channel, what inspired that? Like, that's extra work. Like,
It is.
why do you do it?
I'm not a good YouTuber though. Like
Uh-huh.
I am horrible. I'll go like months, close to a year without even posting a video. Like I'm trying to get like a more consistent flow with the YouTube videos. It's hard because you have to like create the video, you have to edit the video,
I
upload the
know.
video. It's a lot of
Sucks.
work. It's
It's a
not
lot.
easy.
Yeah.
Like for those people like Nicole State, Empty Hanger, like all the other, big people here that do these videos like on a weekly, daily basis. I don't know how they do it
Right.
because with reselling alone and then uploading the videos, like it's a lot.
It is.
But I started doing try on hauls. My old videos, I'm like, oh my God, they're so bad. If you like look at like the first videos I ever uploaded, like I'm like, oh, it's so bad. But
We all have to start somewhere.
I like want to delete them, but then I'm like, I can laugh at myself and look at them like,
You can show them to your kids.
who do I think I am? Like trying on these like vintage like one piece suits and stuff. Like
Let's actually talk about vintage, because how much vintage do you actually sell now, and how much current do you sell, like current as in current labels, and how has that changed over the years? Because you did start with vintage.
yeah, it's crazy. I did start with vintage, and then I kind of like I said before, I just started following what other people were doing on social media, and I kind of like got away from vintage because I thought like, well, I see these people and they're making so much money and they're not doing vintage. So I got away from vintage, and then now I'm like, I love vintage, so I started doing vintage again, and now I'm like, I'm making good money with the vintage items that are selling. They're selling for like higher profits.
Right.
So I would say like now maybe 20% is vintage. Still not a lot,
Okay.
but you know, I want to keep doing it. So, but I got to say the like current stuff does sell like more like quicker for me. So
I get it. I get it. But I think, you know, what I love hearing from you though is like, you can do both. And I think oftentimes we
yeah,
think we have to do one or the other.
no, you can do both.
And like the fact that you can just like pull things that you love and make more money from vintage. I mean, that is sort of why vintage, when people do it well, they don't have to sell a lot. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? If they get something for like $20, right? Let's say $20, which is a high investment, but they can sell it for 200 if it's the
Yeah,
right
like
piece.
I just bought this amazing tapestry jacket, and
Mm-hmm.
I bought it for $30, which I would never buy anything for $30, but I was like, I seriously cannot let this go. Like I would cry if I left the store right now without this jacket. I needed it. And it
Yeah.
has like real fur cuffs, and it's amazing.
Stop.
So yeah, it's like to die for. Like I
What
love it.
is
I
it?
love it.
What is it selling for?
I looked up some solds were like 130 to $200, and someone has the exact same jacket listed on Etsy for I think $234. So I listed it at 200. I'm like, I'm just gonna wait for the right person, see how much it sells for. We'll see. We'll see. Fingers crossed. I hope it sells at least 100. Like,
Oh, it totally will. Totally
yeah,
will. If it's like a Magic Man jacket, yeah,
yeah, it's
totally,
amazing. And then
totally.
what else? I find good vintage though, like at the bins and stuff. I hoard a lot of it though. Like
Got it.
I hoard.
Got
It's
it.
like my secret stash, but
Got it. Got it. Awesome. Well, I have to come over and buy it from you because I'm always looking for more. So let's talk through, like, we have like about five more questions. We've already been talking for 50 minutes. These interviews fly. Seriously, they fly. I think what I love hearing from you, just to like update anyone who's tuning in who didn't have a chance to listen to the beginning of the interview, Alex is very honest about the fact that she follows people and she learns from them, right? It's like she wasn't born with all of this knowledge. She's still teaching
nope.
herself. But I'm sure people come to you still, Alex, and DM you and whatever, and they're like, how do I get started? Like, how do I get started in this business? So, like, what would you tell someone, you know, about being successful in resale? Like, what are the characteristics that you need to have as a person to be successful in this business?
I think you have to just like have an eye for it. Like if like have a sense
Mm-hmm.
of style and trends, and like what are people wearing? What are people buying? Like being able to go to like into a thrift store, and let's be real, thrift stores are 90% filled with crap that nobody wants.
Right.
So you have to go in there and you got to pick
Find that
the few
10%.
little items, yes, and find that
Mm-hmm.
10% that is not crap that that person made a mistake in donating. They probably shouldn't have, but
Yeah.
glad they did.
Yeah, yeah. I know that's such an interesting shift. It's like I'm going into this place to find 5 to 10% that's good.
Yes, yes. Sometimes I walk out with
Yeah.
just one thing.
Wow. Yeah, yeah. And then, okay, resale has changed, and what's so cool is that you've been in the industry since 2011, not just with Vinted, but with your own brand. So you've seen a lot of changes. I know you're experiencing them now. You just kind of referred to Poshmark making some changes. Like, where do you see the future of resale going, just based on your experience right now?
Whew, I don't know.
Yeah,
You hear like so many like conspiracy theories of like
right.
resale is gonna die, it's gonna die. I don't think it's gonna die.
No.
I think people are starting to really, really get into like secondhand. It's
Hmm.
becoming trendy. So I think it is gonna get more difficult to source. I've noticed it's definitely been a lot difficult. Like walking into Goodwill today compared to 5 years ago,
Yeah,
it's it's so much difficult to find. You have so much competition. More people are doing it, more people are talking about it. And
right.
then you got, like the old people right now, they're doing it. They're on eBay. Those 50, 60, 70-year olds, they're on eBay. Like, and I don't blame them with, the economy and they're,
Hmm.
trying to supplement their income because they're on retirement.
Yeah.
So I think sourcing can get a little difficult, but I think if you have the motivation, you have the right connections, like the Goodwill outlet.
Hmm.
I think if,
Hmm.
if you haven't been to a Goodwill outlet, you should go.
I know. Yeah, yeah, and there's more opening like around
Right.
the
And
country,
then,
so it's going to give more people the opportunity to source.
right. And I think that's
Yeah.
also with Goodwill increasing their prices so high. That's why
Yeah.
they're opening up more outlets because they're not selling their stuff because it's
So
priced too high.
true. So true. That's it. That's so it.
It's
Oh my
going to be
gosh.
like to the point where resellers aren't even going to be in the regular Goodwill anymore. We're all
No.
going to be in the outlet. Regular
Yeah.
Goodwill are for the people that they can't hang. They
Right.
can't they can't go into
Right.
the
Into the dirt. Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I've always been a Salvation Army fan.
really
The
I don't
prices
know.
are
It's
low.
like for real, over here they're not. They're way more expensive than Goodwill. Like
Got it.
they'll have like Old Navy jackets for like 17, $18.
Oh yeah, yeah. That you find that,
Like
but
what?
then you can still find like newer tags, Rebecca Taylor, $2, $3. But it's yeah,
What? No,
it's
not mine. They
yeah.
price like anything new with tags, they price it 50% off of whatever
Mm.
price is on the tag. It's like,
Oh,
how do you even know they didn't have a 90% off sale?
that's ridiculous. Yeah. Well, it's like it goes back to just finding your source and
Right.
working that source for you. And then also like if you don't have an outlet, like I teach people, I'm like, hey,
Oh
why don't
yeah, like
you
half off sales and garage sale. Yeah, I mean, it's
or
endless. You
even your
can,
friends, even though your friends are
yeah,
trying to sell you $15
yeah.
Old Navy jeans, but you can still buy out a friend's closet
You
for
could
like
source online.
$50.
Like you can
Yeah.
look on eBay and stuff. I just bought like a whole humongous jewelry lot for $15 on eBay. Like,
Cool. Great idea. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It's like there's small fish and then there's big fish. So be a
Yeah.
big fish and eat the small fish.
Even like some people I know like that do like the mystery boxes. Some
Yes.
of them are credible, not all of them, but if you do your research and you find the right person that's selling those mystery boxes with really great brands they're getting from the bins and they're willing to, sell it off for $5 an item in bulk.
Oh, genius. And that's actually a business model for anyone who wants to do it.
Yeah,
Just to be a
exactly.
mystery box seller.
Yeah, like if you got the
Yeah.
goods and you can get them for, 70 cents, 50 cents, like, if you're finding that much at the bins, then you can easily sell them in boxes for people
Wow.
that are in those remote areas.
Wow. Okay, that is such a business model that I never even considered for
Yeah.
people. I love that. I love that so much. Okay, so we've got three more questions, and this one's really important. So
Okay.
you're a full-time reseller, so obviously you're going to notice like this with your business. So there's good times and there's bad times. How do you stay sane during bad times? And like, what are some tips and techniques you've learned to try to like generate more business for yourself when things are
Pro-
just low?
when they go slow, I mean, obviously I lose my shit at first. I'm like, what the heck? Nothing's on.
Oh yeah, been there.
But
Yeah.
but I always just stay focused and just concentrate on listing more. And if I am running low on inventory, most people be like, don't go out and shop. I go out and shop. I'm like, I
Okay.
start freaking out. I'm like, I need to go out there and I need to find something that's going to bring me like like $100 at least. Like, I just keep going.
Right, right, right. So basically you don't give up and you
No,
you
no, no. Because it
keep listing.
happens.
Yeah.
And every single time, you know, when sales are slow, we always think like, this is it. This is the end, but it's
This
not.
is
And
the
then,
end.
yeah, and then it always comes
My.
back. And then you're like, we're on
Now,
top. We're on top.
do you like with eBay, you were saying, you know, you might put something on auction or whatever. With Poshmark, do you lower prices? Do you reshoot? Is there like a
No,
strategy? No.
I
Okay.
don't lower prices. I used to do that in the past and it hurt my business so much because what happens is people that follow you and people that buy from you a lot, they start expecting it and they wait for it. They're going to wait for you to drop those
Wow.
prices. So I stopped. I said, no, no more. So sometimes instead of doing that, I'll send offers out because then my price can
Yes,
still
yes,
remain the
yes.
same. Because if you lower the prices, you have someone else that's going to come along and they're going to see that item for the first time being at $15. They're going to offer you 8 or 12
Right.
because they don't know that you just marked it down. They don't know that you listed it for $60. They're seeing it for the
Yes.
first time. So
Yes.
you got to keep those prices where they need to be. Another thing too is like when you keep lowering those prices, you keep driving the worth down. So you're just driving it and you're just plummeting. Like, you know, if you're free people, for instance, free people used to sell for a lot, but we keep lowering and lowering and lowering. And it's like we're all
All
racing to the
resellers
bottom.
do. All
Yeah, we
resellers are
just
lowering
can't.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't
Yeah.
do that.
No,
I
it's
just,
it's like a stock. Like
yeah.
literally, we like it is the stock market.
Yeah, and we're driving it down. If we keep driving it down, then we're not gonna, you know, help everyone out. We all need to stay here.
Yes, everyone needs to actually keep their prices high
Yeah,
or
because
higher.
think
Wow.
about it, we're starting to compete with Goodwill now.
Yeah. Yeah. Crazy. Okay, that I mean that was a big aha shift. Everyone keep your prices higher, okay? Do not lower your prices.
No.
Um okay, I love this question so much. You obviously have a social following and like you said people from high school are like discovering that you're like insta famous whatever. But how do you explain to people when they ask what you do? Like it's a stranger or an old friend, like how do you explain what you do?
I just tell them I sell clothes. They're like,
Yeah?
yeah, I'm just like, I sell clothes, used clothes on the internet.
I love it. I love it. And people just like take that for face value. They don't.
Yeah, I mean, some people are like, oh, that's weird. And then other people are like, they're really intrigued by it and they want to know more.
Yeah.
Like, where are you selling it? What are you selling? And like,
Yeah.
especially when I go to the post office, because my post office is inside a grocery store.
Cool.
So I use the grocery cart and I wheel in like, you
Yeah.
know, like the whole cart full of packages. And
That's
people are like,
adorable.
people always think I sell LuLaRoe. I get all the like ladies are like, "Are you selling LuLaRoe?" Like,
No.
no, no,
And I will never sell
no,
LuLaRoe.
no.
Oh my God, you can thrift so much of that now. Um, Crazy. Okay, cool. So final question. So we sort of asked this, but like what other advice would you give to resellers new in the game? Like
New in the
what's
game.
like a few pieces of advice? Maybe mistakes you've made that you wouldn't want them to make.
Um,
One of which is don't lower your prices. So we already
don't
went
lower
over
your
that.
prices. Don't
Yeah.
freak out. Like, don't freak out if stuff isn't selling. Um, Probably okay. Here's a good example.
Hmm.
Like, let's say you have 100 items listed, and you're like, nothing's selling, nothing's selling. Um, I'm not going to go buy more until I sell this.
Okay.
You can't think like that. You have to keep buying more and you have to keep building and building because the more that you keep doing it and the more that you're consistent with listing, the more
Yeah.
stuff's going to sell and you start to get that cash flow. That was like I don't know why I had that mentality in the way beginning. I would get to like 100 things when I was still doing this part-time and had like a full-time job. And I'd be like,
Yeah.
you know what? I'm not going to go buy anything else. Not buying anything else. This stuff needs to sell. I need to get rid of all of this before I put more stuff in.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, I don't know,
Wow.
it's a common thing that we all think in the beginning, and it's like, that's not how it works.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like you're at the grocery store, right? Or like you own a grocery store and you're like, I'm not buying any new produce until all this produce sells. But
Right,
it's
and
like
it's gonna go bad.
rotting. It's gonna go
Yeah.
bad.
Like, you gotta
Yeah.
replace it. You gotta get more stuff.
Exactly. Oh my God, I love that. Is there anything else that you tell people, especially when they ask you questions or comment?
Probably like also like keep track of like all of your stuff, like your expenses and things like that.
Mm,
Like in the beginning,
mm-hmm.
I didn't, and I remember when I had to file taxes at the end of the year, it was
Yeah, it's a mess.
It was a nightmare. Like I was like scrounging and doing everything last minute. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
another part of the job. You have to.
Yeah. It absolutely is. I'm actually going to interview someone who, uses QuickBooks and
Yeah.
has a whole system to really understand also what she's making per piece, because she's just that elevated, right? Which is not for everyone, but at least it gives you some insight into just like how to keep track
Yeah,
of.
there's what is it? I forget her name. Reselling for Profit, is that? She
Um,
has a spreadsheet that she sells, and it's like it's
oh,
bomb.
okay.
Like it is the best one. I bought it from her. I think it was like $20, $25. I
Okay.
mean, it has everything that you need, like for every single app that you sell on, like Macari, Poshmark, eBay. Everything's in there. She even has it broken down by which states that you make your sales to the most, and then it also breaks it down by which thrift store you make the most profit from.
That's
Which
so
I think
cool.
that was like my favorite thing. So I'm like, okay, well it breaks it down by
Clearly.
stores, so you clearly know where you should be sourcing more and which stores are just you're not making money
Okay.
on.
I will
So
go
I think it's
find that.
reselling for profit. I think that's her.
Reselling for profit. I will.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to find her. I'm going to interview her and I'm going to list that for you guys to buy. That is so awesome. And then we just interviewed List Perfectly, and then I will let you go because we're like way past 9, or well, it's 9:01, so not way past 9, but list Perfectly, like check it out, because for cross listing, they have templates, they have like just functionality where you can really like scale your business. You can also, I mean, it's beyond Poshmark and eBay, but it's Etsy, it's Mercari,
Oh wow.
Threadsy. They're not on Depop yet. Relove, maybe Vinted as well. There's a bunch, but yeah. So there's like a lot of great
Is that the one that
resources
everyone?
out there.
I think I've seen in a couple people's stories on Instagram where they're showing like them cross listing, so it like copies all the information from one. Is that the one?
You
Yeah, I
push a
should probably
button,
do that.
and then when something sells, you actually have to say that it sold. So you have to go back and say that it sold, but it removes, like, so as long as you do that quickly, you're good.
Oh
So that
wait,
you're not,
so if something sells and you hit sold, it'll delete it off of the other thing for you.
yeah, but you have to say that it sold. So it doesn't automatically do that for you.
Okay.
So like if it sells at 3 a.m., you know what I mean? And it still sells on, like it sells Poshmark at 3 a.m., but then eBay 9 a.m. because you didn't wake up, that would be the only,
That's never happened to me before. Like I
Oh,
can
okay.
honestly, it's never happened to me before. Like I'm always really quick with doing it, but I mean,
Yeah.
if you have a device like an app that can do it for you, I mean, that's like so much better.
Yep. Well, Alex, this has been a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming in
Yep.
and just sharing more of your story, and also just like what I really love about you, and what I just want everyone here to recognize is some people are like, like I'm so like, like you said, like I'm a little bit like that. Like I'm waking up at 5 a.m. and I'm doing all these things. But the point that you really drove home is like figure out what works for you, not just
Hmm.
in terms of your schedule, but what sells. Definitely seek, inspiration from other people. But first and foremost, I mean, like any business, recognize that you're going to take some losses, but
Oh
you
yeah.
have to keep going. You have to have an abundance mindset. And just don't put so much pressure on yourself. Just
Mm-mm.
continue to make it
Yeah.
work for you.
It's like
Yeah.
it's not that serious.
Right. It's just clothes.
Yeah.
It's just used clothes. I
Yeah,
mean,
we're literally just selling other people's stuff. Like it's
love it. Love it. Well, Alex, thank you so much. I'm going to let you go.
okay.
And we will be chatting on Instagram, and I hope to see you in a few weeks.
Yes.
And everyone who tuned in, go follow Alex. She is so THEE, Queen of Thrift on Instagram, and she is a delight. So go say hi.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Bye, Alex. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye, guys.